What's up? Good afternoon to those who are on this east side of the United States of America, and good morning to those of you who are on the rest of America. I'm Alex. I go by ThatMan, and just gonna go live. I realized so I realized there was 12 days left in the month, and someone just told me, you know what? Go live every single day for the last 12 days, and every single day read or talk about one of the 12 steps, right? So, for those who don't know, I'm a recovering drug addict. I have 6 years and some change, clean and sober from all substances, drugs, and alcohol. In the past few months, I made a change when I celebrated my 6 year anniversary, as a matter of fact, February 11th. I realized I wasn't really sober. As much as I didn't do drugs and alcohol no more, as much as my life had changed financially and spiritually, even in many ways, my life had changed for the better because I was homeless 6 years ago, right? And now my life is like way better. I wasn't sober, right? Because at the end of the day, um, what I learned and what I believe sobriety to be is soundness of mind. So I was miserable because I was extremely overweight, 460 pounds or more, maybe. I really don't know how much I weighed because I weighed so much the scale wouldn't be able to weigh me. And I made a decision to change, the same way I made the decision when I looked for help for my drug addiction. So the 12 steps is something that I've really, really dove into in the past 6 years. And it's what helped me really understand why, right? And know who I am, right? Because who you are never changes. You're always going to be who you are. How you label yourself doesn't define you. You could, like I say, I'm a drug addict in recovery. That's not who I am. I am not just a drug addict in recovery. You get what I'm saying? Or I am not just a health coach or an entrepreneur or a businessman. Like those are just labels, right? It doesn't define who I am. Who I am is a lot deeper. Who you are is a lot deeper. So, being that it's day one of the last 12 days of this month, I figured we start with step uno. That's Spanish for one. I speak Spanish and English, for those who don't know. I am Cuban. I was born in this country, so I'm 100% American. But I was raised by a bunch of Cubans. And Spanish was one of my first languages. All right. So, anyway, let me say what's up to a couple of y'all. I'm going to start from the bottom up. We got Denise. What's up, Denise? She's saying hi to Jen. This is Jen, Alex of all trades. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Jen? We got Happy Cowgirl Thrifter. Hey, that shirt you got me a long time ago don't fit no more. It just doesn't fit anymore. I still have it, though. I'm going to probably be looking to donate. There was somebody who reached out to me and asked me what I was going to do with all the clothes that doesn't fit me anymore. I got to reach out to them. Jennifer Hayes is in the building. Jennifer, I hope that your offspring is doing better. I know that they are. You said they were last night in Tommy's live, so I'm happy to hear that. Prayers work, y'all. Prayers work. Good vibes. That's for those of you who aren't religious or anything like that, good vibes. Putting good vibes out there, saying good things, positive things out. You get positive things in, So what else we got here? We got, oh wait, that's Jennifer Lance. That's the same one. We got Tiffany. What's up, Tiffany? Tiffany's about to change her life. She's already changing her life. Spoke to Tiffany today and she's feeling great. We got Money from Mars is present and accounted for. What's up, Johnny? And we got Talbert's mom said she'll be back taking care of her kitty. Prayers work, y'all. Talbert's mom, Cat, was sick. They had to do a surgery and all this stuff, and we prayed, man, and Cat's doing just fine, right? Sometimes we put our own negative, ideas out into the universe, and then it impacts us in many ways, right? So, like, it's hard to not think of like the worst thing that could happen, right? But when you try to focus on the light, on the good, on all that, it makes it a little bit easier. And at the end of the day, it's fear. It's fear, you know, you get worried about something that hasn't happened yet, and then at the end of the day it doesn't happen. So that whole time that you were worried, it was almost as though it was for nothing, and it drained you of your positive energy. But again, it's easier said than done. But let's get into this stuff right here. We got Irene also. What's up, Irene? So proud of you, she says. Thank you. All right, guys. So I really have no plan. I'm just gonna go live every day and read. And normally when I read this stuff, I get real passionate about it, So I start going off. I can't say I'm gonna go for 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. Who knows? Honestly, I'm not gonna try to go that long. So I'll just do my best. But these are the 12 steps and 12 traditions. All right. But if you listen to this with an open mind, this applies to anybody and everybody, not just addicts. Straight up. If you listen to this with an open mind, you can get something out of this that you can apply in your life. All right. And you can, change the way you live. Right. Because it doesn't matter where you at in life, change is inevitable and you are going to change. But if you have that choice, you control that change, or do you let it control you? So when you know who you are as an individual, completely know who you are, which is a lifelong, it's like a forever thing. You're always learning who you are. But when you have a little bit more consciousness on who you are, change can be a good thing, right? All right, so step 1, it says we admitted we were powerless over, it says alcohol, but for this, I'm just going to say addiction. All right. We admitted we were powerless over addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Who cares to admit complete defeat? So look, let me see. I had prepared some things right here. Look, right here, look, boom. So this is the first step right here. All right. We admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. All right. To admit that you're powerless over anything, something that has more power than you, something that has that control on that change in your life, right? Because you're forever changing, but something is controlling that because it has more power than you do. And it's this constant battle of you trying to overpower that, right? So in my case, it was drugs. In my case, it was alcohol. In my case, it was substances that made me like detach myself from myself, And I always, every day, it got to a point with an addict that, like me, in my case, every day was a struggle. Like every day, I told myself I can't do this no more, but I didn't have that power. And as much as I tried to fight, that addiction would just win every single time. So it's admitting that you're powerless, and it's not an action step. You don't have to take an action on this step. This is looking at yourself and admitting that there's something in your life that you have no power over, okay? And that has made your life unmanageable. All right. So if your life in any way, whether it's your relationships, your business, finances, your health, mental, physical health, right? If there's something in your life that's unmanageable, this is what it's about. There's something that has more power, that has power over you right now that you have no power over. But you're constantly fighting against it, thinking that you do. So so this is about just admission. This is just admission. All right. Who cares to admit complete defeat? Practically no one, of course. Every natural instinct cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. It is truly awful to admit that, glass in hand, we have warped our minds into such an obsession for destructive living that only an act of providence can remove it from us. An act of providence meaning like a miracle. Okay, that only a miracle can take away this obsession for destructive living. All right, it says drinking, but living, the way we live, it's destructive. It's destroying our relationships. It's destroying our businesses. It's destroying our finances. All right. It's destroying our mental and emotional health. It's destroying our physical health, right? So no other kind of bankruptcy is like this one. Um, it says alcohol, now become the rapacious creditor, bleeds us of all self-sufficiency and all will to resist its demands. Once this stark fact is accepted, our bankruptcy as going human concerns is complete. All right. So once this fact, all right, once this absolute fact of whatever it is in your life that's that's bleeding you of all your self-sufficiency, all right, something you have no control over because it has more power than you, all right. Once that absolute fact is accepted, meaning to receive willingly, you willingly accept it. All right. It's not just about, oh, I got a problem. Because everybody knows they got a problem. You could put in the chat right now, you tell me, oh yeah, I got problems. Everybody got problems. You're always reaching out, telling people your problems, right? Always looking, my problem, I got problems. Everybody got problems. But when you accept your problems, is a different thing. You receive it willingly. You willingly say, man, I really do have a problem. Like this whole time, I've known for the past few years, since I started working again, I left out the recovery group, that I had a problem with eating. I knew it. I knew that I should have gotten me an apartment that had a kitchen so I can cook myself something instead of eating fast food 3 times a day, right? So I knew these things, and always, for at least 6 months to a year before starting this health adventure of mine, I told myself, I got a problem, but I didn't accept it. Does that make sense? Until I accepted it, that's when I finally made the decision to take the next step. But that's tomorrow. So if you're enjoying this conversation right here, come back tomorrow, and for the next 12 days, every day, a new 12 step. A new step from the 12 steps. But upon entering, we soon take quite another view of this absolute humiliation. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first step towards liberation and strength. Our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turn out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. This pulls on my heartstrings, yo. All right. For 18 years of my life, since the age of 12, and probably before that, I know before that, but for 18 years of my life, okay, I fought with the idea that I had a problem, with the idea that, I had to change what I was doing with my life. I fought with that concept for 18 years, from the age of 12 to the age of 30. And it just got worse and worse and worse. At 12, I was a kid. I was having fun, hanging out with the cool people, drinking a little bit, smoking a little bit. It was nothing. It was nothing. By the age of 20, I was hooked on coke. I was smoking crack. But that was nothing. By the age of 25, I almost got my life together. I went to ITT Tech. I became a 4.0 GPA student there. I had straight A's in all my classes on every single thing. I got 1D in math one time because I messed up on something. But other than that, straight A's. All right. I didn't know that ITT Tech had an honor roll. I was on honor roll at ITT Tech at 25. And then I met a girl. And that girl had a problem. But I also had a problem. So our problems worked together to make our problems even bigger. And I went from almost kind of like my life was all right to all of a sudden being hooked on painkillers. Next thing you know, a few years later, I'm on probation. If I violate, I'm going to prison for 15 years minimum. I violated it. And I was let off the hook because I paid my price. Right? I was given grace. Okay. But did I learn? No, I didn't learn. Because at that point, I was hooked on heroin. At that point, I was hooked on heroin. And from there, homelessness. And from there, every door closed. And from there, no hope. It felt like hopelessness. It's like, imagine feeling completely empty. That was me. So my whole life, all those years, I fought with the idea that I had to change that aspect of my life, that was destroying my life, that I can continue. I believed I could continue living that life and that everything was going to be fine. I had these fantasies that everything was going to be fine. It was until I admitted, I willingly received like a gift the fact that I needed to change, the fact that I was powerless, that I couldn't do it, not on my own. Okay, until that happened, I didn't get to lay my foundation. That's why at 36 years old, I'm still trying to build my life. Where like most teenagers at 18, they get out of high school, they either start a career, they go to college, and they start building their life at 18. I had to start doing that at age 30. And the humiliation of admitting that, right? The humiliation of admitting that and still being able to hold my head up high because I know who I am now. But in the beginning, it took a lot of work to know who I am. And that's why we start with step one. Because you need to lay your foundation first. So whatever it is that you're struggling with, whatever it is that you have no power over, whatever it is that's controlling that positive change in your life, that's stopping that positive change in your life, whatever it is, the very first thing you need to do is admit it. You're not going to be able to do anything about it until you lay that foundation. Because that foundation will eventually lead you to a happy and purposeful life. Not riches, not, popularity. You're still not going to get power. You're never going to, the three things everybody wants. You're not going to get those things. That's not where happiness and purpose is. It's not. It's not. So our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turned out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. We know that little good can come to any person who joins this concept unless he has first accepted his devastating weakness and all its consequences. Until he so humbles himself, his sobriety, if any, and again, sobriety meaning soundness of mind, his mental state of stability, all right, if any, will be precarious, questionable, short-lived. That's what precarious means. It means questionable. It means short-lived. So his sobriety will be short-lived. Of real happiness, he will find none at all. Proved beyond doubt by an immense experience, this is one of the facts of this kind of life. The principle that we shall find no enduring strength until we first admit complete defeat is the main taproot from which our whole society has sprung and flowered. When first challenged to admit defeat, most of us revolted. We had approached this concept expecting to be taught self-confidence. Then we had been told that so far as alcohol is concerned, self-confidence was no good whatsoever. So far as whatever your problem is concerned, okay, self-confidence is not good. Self-confidence is good. It's good to be confident in yourself. A lot of people are not confident in themselves. People are always telling me, man, you're so confident. I am. I am confident. I know that. I recognize it. I also recognize that most people aren't, because I once in my life was not confident in myself. Okay? Self-confidence was no good whatsoever. So the idea that you are powerless over something, if you're confident that you can do it on your own, if you're confident that you have control of the situation, that's not good. That's why, like, when an addict, says, "Oh no, I'm good. I got 10 years sober. I'm good. I can go to the bar and hang out with my friends. I can go to my cousin's bachelor party and they're gonna be drinking. I'm gonna be just fine." You probably are. You probably are. The issue with that is, are you conscious enough of that situation? Can you actually handle that situation? When you blindly believe that you're able to handle it, like it's not a big deal, like you forgot where you came from, like you forgot everything that you've overcome, it becomes almost as though, oh no, but it's only a beer. And then that beer leads to 18 years of active drug addiction, homelessness, all this craziness that I went through. You know, there's a difference between being cocky and confident. Huge difference between cocky and confident. But when it comes to this kind of thing, self-confidence was no good whatsoever. In fact, it was a total liability. See? I didn't even read that part yet. It was a total liability. Our sponsors declared that we were the victims of a mental obsession so subtly powerful that no amount of human willpower could break it. A mental obsession so subtly powerful. Obsession, an intense, irrational desire. Okay? There's nothing wrong with having a desire. You can crave a beer. You can crave a pizza. You can crave watching a movie. I don't know, right? You can crave things. You can have a desire to do things. That's totally fine. That's not wrong. But when it's an irrational desire and it becomes intense, that's the scary part. That's an obsession. That is an obsession. Okay. So they said, no such thing as a personal conquest of this compulsion by the unaided will. Unaided will. Okay. I'm going to read that again. They said, no such thing as the personal conquest. Personal conquest. You're going to conquer this on your own. There's no such thing as that. That's what they said. That's what they said. Okay. They said that there's no personal conquest of this compulsion by the unaided will, right? Relentlessly deepening our dilemma, our sponsors pointed out our increasing sensitivity to, it says, alcohol. So you could, if put that pizza. Our increasing sensitivity. I got an allergy towards pizza. I'm allergic to pizza. All right. I more than crave pizza. All right. I have an obsession with Ninja Turtles is part of that. The reason why. All right, I grew up on Ninja Turtles. They love pizza. But anyway, I digress. And it says an allergy, they called it. The tyrant wielded a double-edged sword over us. First, we were smitten by an insane urge that condemned us to go on drinking, eating, fornicating. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. Overworking out. Like working out too much. You name it. Overindulging in video games or Netflix. Like, how many Netflix movies have you watched in the last 4 months? I can tell you I've watched 0. I might have watched 1, but I don't remember. So it says, the double-edged sword. First, we were smitten by an insane urge that condemned us to go on drinking or whatever the other things are, and then by an allergy of the body that ensured we would ultimately destroy ourselves in the process. So it's a double-edged sword, right? First, you need it. You got to do whatever it takes to get it. Sorry, that's my alarm for water. And you'll do whatever it takes to get it. But then you get it, and little by little, it destroys your life. Some people are so unlucky that they go their entire lives in this destructive mode. Okay? Some people are fortunate and they recognize and they change and they do all these things and they get better. Very few people. And then some people never even get the chance. So few indeed were those who, so assailed, had ever won through in single-handed combat. It was a statistical fact that alcoholics almost never recovered on their own resources. And this had been true apparently ever since man had first crushed grapes. So since back in the day, since the first day they said, "Hey man, we got these grapes. What you want to? I'm tired of just eating them. Like, what can we do? Oh, let's crush them. All right, why? Well, we'll make a juice. All right, cool. And then they make the juice, and then like the juice got bad, right? Because they didn't have refrigeration back in the day, and then like the juice got bad, and it fermented, and somebody like drank it, and they're like, "Whoa, that's what's up." And then they discovered wine or something. I don't know. I totally made that up, but you get what I'm saying. Since those days, no, not many people have been able to do it on their own, have been able to change their life on their own. Not many people have been that stable mentally, physically, and spiritually to be able to conquer these constant demons that are in all of our lives and have been able to keep their life managed, live a happy, purposeful. Not many people whatsoever. I can't think of one. If you know one, put it in the chat. What's up, Danica? What is up, Denise? I saw CJ earlier. My mom's up in here. We got the flipping accountant. We got Cubanaso. What's up, dog? I saw CJ there. CJ. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know me. I'm reading. It's not because I don't love y'all. It's not because I don't love y'all. I love y'all by doing this. This is my way of loving y'all. All right. In the pioneering times, none but the most desperate cases could swallow and digest this unpalatable truth. Even these last gaspers often had difficulty in realizing how hopeless they actually were. But a few did, and when these laid hold of these principles with all the fervor with which the drowning seas life preservers, like their life depended on it, they hold on to these principles. Like I've been holding on to these principles for 6 years. All right, my life depends on this. When people ask me, like, why don't you, like, it's just a beer, dude. Like come on, like, yo, we're going to the strip club. Come through, like, dude, you don't understand it, bro. My recovery comes first. You know what I'm saying? Everything that my recovery, it entails, everything, like all the things in my recovery, and these principles come first. Have I messed up, like slipped up, and like, did things that I regretted later and stuff? Of course, but that's part of the recovery process too, right? That's part of the recovery process. You use these principles continuously. It's nonstop, and you'll get that by day 12. By day 12, hopefully y'all get everything that I'm talking about. All right. So the drowning seas life preservers, they almost invariably got well. Right? So once we held on to these principles, once we opened our mind enough to be like, yo, okay, that makes a little bit of sense, right? Just that little bit, just be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Once you were able to do that, and then you got to that point where you're actually holding it, like, I need this. This is what I need to save my life. I need this to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I need this to actually live, right? They almost invariably, which I can't tell you the definition to right now, got well. I'm guessing it means they almost, like, regardless got well. That is why the first edition of the book, Alcoholics Anonymous, published when our membership was small, dealt with low bottom cases only. Many less desperate alcoholics tried AA but did not succeed because they could not make that admission of hopelessness, So most people will continue living the life they're living in complete misery, to be honest. Like, let's be honest. A lot of us in this world are completely miserable. We put on fake smiles. We take fake pictures. We tell people that we're doing great. We try to show because we don't want to tell people that we're not. We don't want to tell people that we're having issues at the house. We're not going to tell people that we hate our jobs. We're not going to tell, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want people to think we're doing amazing. So you go on social media, and social media is easy to just put pictures up of you smiling all the time. You know? Like, I did not do social media very well because I just wasn't smiling all the time. And I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to be. Now I'm all up on social media because I'm loving my life and I want to share my life with the world. And I want people to live this life with me. You know, and I want people to live their lives the way I'm living my life, in a sense, right? Like, with that sense of happiness, that sense of purpose and fulfillment. And yes, Irene, you have to love yourself. It is a tremendous satisfaction to record that in the following years, this had changed. People who still had their health, their families, their jobs, and even 2 cars in the garage began to recognize their problem. As this trend grew, they were joined by young people who were scarcely more than potential alcoholics, overeaters. You already know. They were spared the last 10 or 15 years of literal hell the rest of us had gone through. Since step one requires an admission that our lives have become unmanageable, how could people such as these take this step? So this is the majority of people right now. People don't want to hear this. People do not want to hear this. Because they're thinking to themselves, bro, I ain't got no problem. Meanwhile, they're constantly arguing with their loved ones. They're constantly angry when no one's looking. They're cussing people out in their own mind. They're hating life. They're truly miserable. But they don't want to hear this because they ain't got no problem because they make $100,000 a year and they have a nice house, and you know their kids have clothes on their back, and you know they go travel. They travel the world. So I ain't got no problem. You're the one who has a problem. You're the one who lives at home with your mom. You're the one that's overweight. Like, who are you to tell me? It's sad because in those cases, the person that they're pointing the finger at most of the time is extremely happy. And the reason they point the finger at them is because they don't want to point the finger at themselves, and they see the happiness in them. They want what they have, but they don't have it. Well, they don't see it in themselves. The truth is, we all have it. It's in us. We have this. We have happiness. We have purpose. Do y'all feel me? I don't know if y'all feel me, man. What's up, Uncle Mike? Uncle Mike said, hey, man, Alex, I'm the same way. Someone asked me if I wanted to go fishing. I told them no, because for me, fishing and drinking go together. And see, and that's something that you do. And I respect that. And I know you know. You know I know. I respect that, Uncle Mike. That's what I'm talking about. You are conscious enough of that. Some people would still go fishing. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with fishing, but I get you, right? That's what we're talking about. What's up, Mookie? Mookie says, I've been listening in the background. Great live. I see why you're such a successful coach and mentor. Thank you, Mookie. All right. What's up, Jody? Jody over there on Facebook. All right, cool. Y'all are feeling me. Danica says she's feeling me. All right. All right. Let me start over. It is a tremendous satisfaction to record that in the following years this changed. People who still had their health, their families, their jobs, and even 2 cars in the garage began to recognize their problems. As this trend grew, they were joined by young people who were scarcely more than potential problems. All right. They were spared the last 10 or 15 years of literal hell the rest of us had gone through. Since step one requires an admission that our lives had become unmanageable, how could young people like this, that haven't had those experiences, that haven't gone through life and lost those things and felt that heartache and that misery and that despair and that hopelessness, how could those people who are just starting life, right, who are just embarking on their fantasy of being independent, right? How could those people possibly stop themselves from becoming, but from putting themselves in these situations of complete powerlessness? Because you can't avoid it. Like, we can teach these kids to avoid these things, but when you just tell a kid, when you're just like, don't, you need to go to school, don't do this, don't do that, most kids, what they're hearing, what they're thinking is like, why? Because they haven't experienced it yet. So by you forbidding them of doing certain things, or forbid them of like living, like, people gotta live. People are gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna stop it. But when you have such a vulnerable and innocent mind, you know, that hasn't experienced things in life, most of the time, this was me. When they told me, don't hang out with the gang, I was like, but why? They're not that bad, right? And I hung out with them. And I was in bad situations because of it. And I still kept hanging out with them because in the back of my mind, I was like, these people don't know what they're talking about. Of course they do. They came before you. Of course, like your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your teachers, like, of course they know. They're older than you. You know what I'm saying? But no, not a child. These young minds that haven't experienced that, it's almost as though they want to experience it when you tell them not to do it. Right? It was obviously necessary to raise the bottom. Yo, what's up, Veronica? It's good to see you. It was obviously necessary to raise the bottom the rest of us had hit to the point where it would hit them. All right? By going back in our own histories, we could show that years before we realized what? Yeah, I promise you, these the way they used to speak back in the day is wrong, man. Is wrong. It's coming from a guy who speaks Ebonics. All right. By going back in our own histories, we could show that years before we realized it, we were out of control. That our problems, even then, was no mere habit. That it was indeed the beginning of a fatal progression. Right? By going back in our own histories, yo, what's up, rookies, boo? By going back in our own histories and being like, yo, look, man, before I was homeless, before I was a heroin addict, before I was committing crimes so I can get my fix, before I was like this out of control human being, scum of society, before I became that, I was a pretty decent kid. Like, I was a good kid. I mean, I caused problems here and there, and I was a little whiny, and I complained a lot, I had my little issues, right? But my little issues were things that were never addressed by me. We tried to address them. I had gone to therapists as a kid, I had anger problems as a kid, but I never addressed them as a kid myself. I had people try to address them, but I was too young. I was too young to understand, I need to work on this, right? So those little things turned into addiction, straight up. And that addiction was a fatal progression. 18 years of my life wasted. And not even wasted, but because at the end of the day, I'm grateful and blessed to be where I'm at right now. And if it wasn't for my past, I wouldn't be here. I'm blessed because of it. But y'all know what I mean. To the doubters, we could say, perhaps you're you're not problematic at all after all. Why don't you try some more? Why don't you try controlling it more? Bearing in mind, meanwhile, what we have told you about our problems. This attitude brought immediate and practical results. It was then discussed. So basically, this is how you address that situation. You have to realize you got no control over people. Right now, what I'm doing, I know that some of y'all are listening. And if people in the future were to hear this, some of them might listen too, but a lot of times you're gonna rebel in your mind because it's not easy to take in. But it's not about, I'm gonna tell you this story and it's gonna change your life. No, no, it's just like keep in mind, like I understand where you're coming from, kid. I know where you're coming from. I get it. But just at least like listen to what I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Like just listen, just like hear what I gotta say for a second. Like picture yourself in my shoes. Let me tell you where I was when I was your age. You know? What I thought. I thought I was gonna be the world's best rapper. And I was gonna be famous and rich and like every rapper is gonna want to do a song with me. And like I don't know why I thought of that, but well, what's up, D Money? Deldin over there on Facebook. What's up, brother? So, and then Susan said she's late. Start over. Yeah, Jody, this is recorded. You should be able to watch it on Facebook, but you could definitely watch it on my YouTube. It's just ThatMan, but there's a link in the Facebook description. If you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see the link to my YouTube channel there. I just changed the name this morning. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, yo. I went to sleep like at I don't even remember. I think it was like eight or nine or something like that. I was watching Tommy Buffalo Picker live, and then like that's the last thing I remember. I knocked out. I was up pretty late the night before, like working on that intro for the we call it So Now What, before and after So Now What, the show with me, Jen, Adrian, and Sarah. Um, my creativity. I get creative, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I like editing and I like making, just putting my mind, like I want to put it on video. So I stayed up like all night till 5 in the morning, working on all that. And so it messed me up the whole day yesterday. Imbalance is hell. And then got home, kept working, and I wanted to wait till it was a little later to fall asleep because I didn't want to fall asleep at 3 in the afternoon, wake up at midnight, and then be up all night again. You know what I'm saying? Manageability. Boom. That was a great example because I could have fallen asleep. You could ask Jen too. Jen will tell you. I told her I was going to take a nap. I didn't take a nap because I realized if I did, I was going to be up all night again, and I didn't need that. I'm trying to be healthy, right? Like I'll stay up a little late, but not too late. 5 in the morning, that could hurt you. This attitude brought up. It was then discovered that when one person had planted in the mind of another the true nature of his malady, that person could never be the same again. So it's like planting the seed. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm a farmer right now, y'all. I'm just putting seeds out there. I'm putting seeds out there. Y'all are my field, and I'm planting seeds. It's gonna grow regardless. Regardless. It's gonna grow regardless. Whether it's a week from now, tomorrow, next month, a year, 10 years from now, that seed is gonna sprout. When it sprouts, it will eventually blossom. When it blossoms, you're gonna have flowers. And when those flowers are in your possession, you can give them to someone else. That's why I say water your flowers, yo. Focus on what's important. Don't realize where you're putting your time. Realize where you're putting your time, where you're putting your effort, your energy. Water your flowers, yo. Following every spree, he would say to himself, maybe those people were right. So every time that he, from that, see, like from this point forward, like I planted the seed, y'all. So if y'all are listening, I planted the seed already. All right. From this day forward, from this moment forward, whenever something happens that you can relate to this, what I'm just speaking right now, what I'm reading, whenever something happens, you're gonna come back, man. You know, maybe Alex was right. You know, maybe what he was saying was right. Maybe. That's what I'm doing now. So I'm just let y'all know. It says it here. I'm just reading what it says. Let's see what other banners we got here. We already talked about admission of powerlessness in the first step, liberation, relation of humility to sobriety, mental obsession. We talked about that. All right. All right. We already talked about all this. This is the last thing we'll be talking about. After a few such experiences, often years before the onset of extreme difficulties, so years before the onset of extreme difficulties, my example, homelessness and prison and all this craziness, he would return to us convinced. He had hit bottom as truly as any of us. John Barleycorn himself had become our best advocate. Why all this insistence that every person must hit bottom first? The answer is that few people will sincerely try to practice this program unless they have hit bottom. For practicing the remaining 11 steps means the adoption of attitudes and actions that almost no person who is still problematic can dream of taking. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess their faults to another and make restitution for harm done? Who cares anything about a higher power, let alone meditation and prayer? Who wants to sacrifice time and energy in trying to carry this message to the next sufferer? Who? Most people like, yo, I got bills to pay, man. I got kids. They're hungry. I gotta make them a sandwich real quick. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't got time for this. Like most people, I'm sorry, but no, I can't. I'm good. I got my car. I got my house. I got a nice career. I'm a doctor. I went to college forever, and now I'm in debt for the rest of my life. But I make good money, and we travel and stuff. And life's great. All right, buddy. No, the average person, self-centered in the extreme, doesn't care for this prospect unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. So imagine you're not in that extreme situation. Okay? Imagine you're not 30 years old, homeless, running from the law. All right? Imagine that you're not in that extreme situation. Like, these principles just won't mean anything to you yet. A lot of people, it sucks, man. A lot of people end up 80 years old on their deathbed regretting their entire life. Imagine regretting 80 years of your life. Most people do that, man. I'll tell you one person I know that didn't regret a single thing, and he died at 82, was my grandfather. He didn't practice these principles because he read them. He didn't practice these principles because he lost everything in his life. He was one of those people that didn't have an issue with managing his life. He felt he had purpose. He was happy. And when he died, he didn't have regrets. He literally died laughing and smiling just like he did every single day. My grandfather was a clown in Cuba. Like, he was an actual clown. Like a famous clown. El payaso farolito. If anybody wants to look it up. All right. My grandfather had his ups and downs in life. But at the end, the very end, he had no regrets. He lived an amazing life. And I want to say something to y'all, man. Y'all commenting, all right? Listen up. I go back and I rewatch sometimes, most of the time, 95% of the time. I go back and rewatch. All right. Like when I say I'm gonna take a break, I continue working because I'm passionate and I'm driven to achieve the things I want to achieve in life. Right. But when I actually take a break, I go back and I watch this, and it's not so much to watch me, because it's not at all. It's to read y'all's comments to make sure I didn't miss nothing. Because I get a lot from y'all. I'm not doing this for me. I want to be clear with that. This live right now of the first step, and tomorrow the second step, and the next day the third step, I'm not doing this for me as much. So I'm doing this for all of us. It's a combined thought and intention. All right. So I'm doing this for y'all, man. So I go back and read y'all comments. So I'm sorry if I missed them. I love y'all. All right. This is it. All right. Under the lash of our problems, we are driven to looking for help. And there we discover the fatal nature of our situation. Then and only then do we become as open minded to conviction and as willing to listen as the dying can be. We stand ready to do anything which will lift the merciless obsession from us, whatever that obsession is. Is it an obsession over someone else? Are you obsessed with somebody? Are you obsessed with, eating, working out, working, like, are you obsessed with those things? Or are you obsessed with an idea? An idea that you were probably taught when you were young. A lot of things that I was taught through no fault of anyone else's was wrong. I was taught bad ideas. I was taught things that at the time were right, but times change. I grew up in the 80s, in the early 90s. Times were way different back then. You're not going to teach a kid in the 80s principles and concepts. I mean, of course, there's principles, right? Like, come on, you know what I mean? You're not going to teach them ideas that work in those times and then have an expectation that 30 years from now, those same ideas are what are needed to do to live a happy and purposeful life. If you expect that, then you're going to be let down. At the end of the day, every day, you need to keep an open mind. And when it comes to this, check yourself and ask yourself, what is it that's holding me back? What is it that's stopping me from having my own will back? From being able to make my own decisions? From being able to change my life? What is it that's stopping me? And when you ask yourself that, ask yourself this: is it me? Because most of the time, it's you. You're the only thing that's stopping you to take that first step. Because the next steps are going to come. And they come pretty fast. And they're coming. They're going to come, but they're not going to come if you can't take that first step. And that first step is that admission. Okay? Willingly receiving like a gift your factual truth, your truth. Willingly receiving and admitting that there's something in your life that you have no power over that's controlling it. Don't you want control back? At least a little bit of it? Wouldn't it be great to live life instead of just existing, I'm blessed today. I am very blessed today. I am blessed that I live the life I live. Very blessed. Most people don't have to do what I had to do. And I don't want people to do what I had to do. If only, if only somebody gave me these ideas when I was younger, right? But it doesn't matter because I'm blessed today. And today, today, I'm just giving these ideas to you. So it's up to you to do what you want with them. So, with that being said, tomorrow, most likely at noon, I'll go live again and we're going to get into this step right here. Step 2. Well, I can't find my finger. Step 2. All right. We're going to talk about came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Came to believe. So tomorrow we'll be going on to that one. If you missed this, you're just joining in, you can go back. My YouTube channel, if you're watching on Facebook, the YouTube channel link is in the description of this post on Facebook. Click that. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. For the next 12 days, I will be reading one of the steps from the 12 steps in progression all the way to the 12th one. Okay? I actually just read the entire first step. That was the entire first step. And it took an hour because I was giving y'all what I gave y'all. Because normally it would take 5 minutes to read it. All right? It's that easy. You just got to read it. So I just gave y'all my experience with it. So next 12 days, doing this. Link to the YouTube channel is in the Facebook post. Click on it, subscribe to it. There's a little bell. You hit that. You hit all. So every time I go live, you get a little ding on your phone or something like that and tells you that man is live. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're here for the first time, then do the same. Subscribe. It's on the bottom here. And go follow me on Facebook. I post every single day on Facebook. I post every single day on Instagram. TikTok, not so much. I just played around with TikTok, but I might do it one day. But follow me on my social media platforms. I'm just trying to share my life. That's it. Share my life and my wisdom, you know, the little wisdom I do have. So thank you all for being here. Give a shout out to a few of y'all one more time. We got this beautiful young lady here who's lost a tremendous amount of weight and is feeling amazing. What is up? We got Rookie's Boo. Rookie's Boo knows. What's up, Rookie's Boo? We got Myra buying space. What's up? Buying space. You got Sugar Plum. Thank you all for being here. For real. It means a lot to me. We got, let's see who else was here. We got Money from Mars. Let's see what Money from Mars said. I will freely take these ideas, Alex. Powerful messages you are providing, sir. Very grateful. Thank you, brother. Happy you're here. And I'm happy you messaged me not too long ago and told me, hey, you should do it. Because that was a seed. Because it's something I've been wanting. I tried doing it last year. But it's funny how things work. There's a reason why there's only 12 days left. And it's not like 2 weeks ago I said, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till there's 12 days left in the month to read from the 12. No, dude, that did not happen. That did not happen. There was another reason why I'm going live today. There was a little motivation behind it, but I was like, hold on, what day are we on? How many days are left in the month? And then I counted. I'm like, dude, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the 12 steps. Like, you know, coincidence? Nah, ain't no coincidence. All of y'all, Miriam, how you doing, Miriam? Veronica Lenham, love this. The gift of powerlessness can be a bit hard, but we learn so much from our struggles. Amen. You got Frank. What up, dog? What up, Frank? You got Susan. What's up, Susan? Hard to focus on the blessings when we are busy beating ourselves up. That's deep. That's deep. You got the ever so beautiful Mookie. I gotta prepare my food. That was my alarm, reminding me I got half an hour till I need to eat again. I've eaten 3 times already today. I'm about to eat fourth time, and I still got 2 more times to eat after that. If y'all want to know what I'm doing, why I'm eating so much and losing weight and feeling great and doing all this great stuff, message me. And we got, of course, my sensei right here, Jennifer Lance, also known as Never Done Thrifting. Thank you all for being here. Hey, I love y'all. I'm going to read Mookie's comment here. She has something insightful. She said, these steps are relatable for sure. They aren't limited to weight loss. Hugs with a little heart. Amen. Yo, I love y'all. Tune in tomorrow. Stay tuned. I'm going to make the little live for it probably early in the morning again. Comes out. And we got Carol Ann. What's up, Carol Ann? What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Yep. All right, y'all. Hey, I love y'all. Till tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Happy Father's Day for all the baby daddies out there. I'm not a baby daddy. I got no kids. I want kids maybe one day, you know. They don't have to be mine. I just love kids. I'd be an awesome dad. My dad's awesome. My dad's a pretty cool dude. And he's super proud of me, which is an awesome thing. So, love y'all. Happy Father's Day. All that good stuff. Love each other. Love somebody. And don't forget, all right? You can be bad and you can still be good. All right? So, be good or be good at it. Till next time, peace, money, love.